Well, we are now in Butte, Montana. We have, since the last update from sweet, lovely Leah, we were in Cody, and then we went to Cook City, and we saw some wolves, which was rad. And then we went to Red Lodge and stayed at YRVA. We made best friends with a cat named Geo that we like to call Tripod. We made friends with a dog named Tana and a man named Martin. And a man named Martin.
We forgot to say what we did in Cody. So in Cody, we went to the Buffalo Bill Museum of the West, and there were 4 different wings. There was the Plains Indian wing, the natural history wing, and then the Buffalo Bill Cody wing. We went through the Plains Indian wing with Hunter Old Elk, and she kind of went through the exhibits with us and gave her sort of take on it as a curator and as an indigenous woman, and that was really cool. We saw some raptors, some really cool birds. Yeah, that's. And we went to the rodeo. Can't forget the rodeo. And that was really fun. Fast horses and pretty girls.
Fast horses and pretty girls.
Yeah. And then we did everything you said.
We did everything else also. Yeah, I think a lot of the conversations that we've kind of been having around going to that museum and kind of the experiences that they are trying to portray from William Cody and then all the tribes of the plains. And then the conversations that we had with Hunter and then I cannot remember his name. Jeremy Johnson. Just kind of fulfilling, not that I was 100% on this, but this kind of just elevated the opinion that a lot of what we see as the West is kind of this curated fiction that, yeah, that it's solely to profit. And that so much of this idea that we've grown up with and people that don't live in the West look onto the West with just isn't realistic and is just continuing, not discussing the fact that it is this fiction, is just continuing this cycle of genocide and manipulation. And so it was really cool to have those conversations and kind of get that motivation started for this next section of our trip, to kind of have that backbone of okay, how are we gonna start redefining what we see as the West?
Yeah, it's cool. I was just gonna say it's cool to kind of see the curtains get pulled back. I think a lot of us are from the West, and it's this sort of facade that we've all grown up with and romanticized, and to be able to kind of dissect that and see where that's come from and kind of more narratives that are usually left out of that sort of romanticization was really cool. Yeah. I
think, this first section we talked to ranchers and we talked to the museum curators, and it was a lot more focused, I think, on, I don't really know exactly what is to come, but from my understanding, this section was a lot more focused on kind of unpacking, and it's sort of my goal moving forward, at least, to sort of start rebuilding and hopefully having conversations with people about more positive and hopeful ways that we can kind of reconstruct the narrative of the West. And I think as up and coming individuals in the environment and in the world, we have a lot to work with, and it's been really fun to kind of see what opportunities we can kind of just get started on.
There's a lot of things about the West that people don't want to let go of. I was saying, just the kind of iconic, characteristics that I think we're kind of learning more about why those are damaging and why holding on to those can be damaging, and Ella said, moving forward, and how we can kind of perpetuate a new sort of idea about the West that is good for everyone and not just for the few, which I think it has historically been. So I'm excited to learn more about how to have those kind of conversations that make everybody want to listen to what we have to say. I think as we learn, there's a lot of contention between these ideas, especially with the wolves, like perfect example. A lot of people love them, a lot of people hate them. There's not really a middle ground there. Figuring out how to kind of hear everyone's perspectives and have more constructive conversations that will actually lead to like change, I think is going to be really cool. And as we learn more about that, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to continue like the conversation about tourism in national parks, and especially when we go to Glacier, just seeing how that can be like an awesome thing, but also it can be kind of like not a shitty thing, a bad thing. We had a really cool conversation when we were at YRBA about that, and I think it definitely could have kept going if we were entrenched for time. So I'm excited to like kind of keep talking about that and hear what everybody has to say, because there were a lot of strong opinions, which was fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to kind of move into another sector of this whole conversation in our next couple of days here in Butte about mining. It's something that I know is an issue, and I know about it within like certain aspects from like reading Yellow Dirt and just conversations around these like concepts of mines and super sites, but super fun sites, not super sites. You know, super fun sites, not super sites. Anyways, continue like just another issue that I don't know that much about, and I know with knowing the things that we're going to be doing the next 2-3 days are going to spark a lot of interesting, deep, awesome conversations, and so I'm excited for that. I really liked at the top of Beartooth Pass getting to like get so high up and see like all the valleys and like glacial lakes and the pikas. I love pike. So that was major plus.
Yeah, that day was just a good day.
That was a good day.
Yeah, the wolves was definitely, seeing wolves was like probably.
Starting with wolves, ending with pika. What more could you ask for?
Not much. Happy birthday,
Yeah,
Ella.
why don't you pay more attention to me?